Earlier in this series, we took our first look at the beast of Revelation 13. I proposed that, first and foremost, the beast represents the carnal nature, while its heads, the carnal mind. Part of the reason for believing this is due to the fact that it is the carnal nature and mind that is responsible for all the misery we have inflicted on each other since the beginning of time. But the amazing thing is, this was ordained by our Creator from the beginning, illustrated by the Genesis parable and the story of Adam and Eve. Be specific, based on all we have considered, the dragon denotes the haughty spirit, while the beast, the carnal nature, and the 7 heads, the manifestation of this haughty spirit and carnal nature, given as the 7-fold characteristics of the carnal mind, is outlined in Proverbs 6, verses 16 through 19. This, I believe, is why Paul said, "We do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places." Heavenly places refers to the invisible, the unseen, and includes every imagination of the thoughts of men's hearts. For as long as Revelation has been with us, we have endeavored to understand its symbolism. Most traditional views see the beast as some sort of political power consisting of leaders and nations. But if that's the case, then how do we account for the differences between the dragon and the beast and the changes from one to the other? We must also account for the beast that comes up out of the earth in connection with the beast of the sea, as well as the dragon. According to several passages in Revelation, this beast is identified as the collective false prophet. It makes more sense to me that John would be given an understanding relating to the inner essence of our being as opposed to literal kings or leaders of nations. It's easy enough to recognize the carnality of the world and its kings or leaders, but not so easy to recognize this same presence when smartly dressed in sheep's clothing. Furthermore, Jesus did not emphasize the problems and deceptions of the world at large, but the deception that would come in his name. Now, let's go to the following. In that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Where's the dragon? In the sea. What does the sea represent? Peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. So, where do we find a haughty spirit? In people, regardless of culture or language. Now, take a look at the following. Then one of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and talked with me, saying to me, "Come, I will show you the judgment of the great harlot who sits on many waters." So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness. I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, which was full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Where does John see the great harlot sitting? On many waters, but also a scarlet beast. Well, which is it? It's both, for as Revelation 13:1 shows us, the beast rises out of the sea or many waters. Keeping with this, we read the following. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go to perdition. As we learned earlier in this series, the beast ascending out of the bottomless pit is synonymous with the beast rising out of the sea. The sea, figuratively speaking, is an excellent representation of the insatiable appetites of man and his constant desire for more, despite its effect on others. Both the depth and the darkness of the sea correlate quite well with the depth and darkness of the human heart. The great harlot. After declaring the name of Babylon the Great on her forehead, John makes a very significant statement. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Jesus. Let's bring this to what Jesus told the scribes and Pharisees in the following. Therefore I send you prophets and wise men and scribes, some of whom you will kill and crucify, and some you will flog in your synagogues and persecute from town to town, so that on you may come all the righteous blood shed on earth, from the blood of innocent Abel to the blood of Zechariah, the son of Berechiah, whom you murdered between the sanctuary and the altar. On you may come all the righteous blood shed on earth. All the righteous blood? Yes. That's about the most serious declaration Jesus ever made, don't you think? All the righteous blood beginning with Abel. Of course, it's impossible to account for all of this blood unless we consider that Christ, in his sacrifice, embodies all of it in himself. Abel, the son of the first man Adam, died at the hands of his brother, while Christ, the Son of God and the last Adam, died at the hands of his brothers. How did Jesus respond to those who crucified him? Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they do. I'm reminded of Luke 12:48 and the fact that his people simply did not know. Might this particular statement answer his people's cry, his blood be on us and on our children? You see, my friend, righteous blood doesn't cry out against those who hate them, but for them. This is why the name Abel means a keeper of sheep. For Jesus said, the good shepherd gives his life for the sheep. No wonder Jesus also said, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down of myself. Just as Abel's blood cried out for his brother Cain, the Lord's blood speaks better things, crying out for the entire world. Righteous blood, bringing us to the fifth seal, where 5 is the number of grace. There the souls under the altar cry, judge and avenge our blood on those who dwell on the earth. Again, not a cry against us, but for us, for the grace that enables us to perceive his unconditional love for all of his creation. This, dearly beloved, is the book of life. Think about it, dear brother and sister. Who realizes the greatest love, grace, and forgiveness than the one who's been forgiven the most? Eternal torment? No, my friend, not so, for it places a limit on the love of God which cannot be limited. Yes, there are consequences for disobedience. Yes, there is suffering, but it is not a product of anger, but of grace, the unchanging love of a father for his children. In our study on the dragon, I proposed that it represents the Judaic system of religion that was in place when Jesus came at the fullness of the time. 7 is fullness. Hence, there are 7 diadems on the 7 heads of the dragon, denoting this fullness. However, 7 heads plus 7 crowns makes 14, the number of deliverance and salvation. This agrees quite nicely with Revelation 12:10 and with our current perspective. Now, think about this. It was God who introduced the law to Moses and Israel. So when Jesus came to his own people, he would have expected them to be under it. So Paul states this fact in Galatians 4, verses 4 and 5. How does Paul say it? Christ came to redeem those who were under the law, that they might receive the adoption as sons. Those under the law needed redemption. Yes, they did. Why? Because being under the law is necessary for children who do not know or understand the law they're under, while redemption is the process that brings us out from our spiritual infancy and into a relationship of knowing Christ that supersedes the need for a law. As Paul said, love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Clearly, we're not there yet. In closing, let me speak frankly. I did not intend to go in this direction with this series. In fact, I didn't know when I started it that it would even be a series. But having considered so many things, I would like to continue, but in a different vein, and introduce a new series that will consider the present topic from the book of Daniel. That being said, I truly thank all of you for liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. And may God bless you and yours in your walk with Him.